Alright, I want to give a bit of an addition to the Apple locationgate. Received a lot of PMs and comments and this and that. Look, as far as I'm concerned, it's a dead horse. And while I almost didn't make this second video, something else motivated me to do so. And that's going to be a whole new horse that I want to talk about, which is relative to this subject. So to recap, we've got this worried mentality of, wow, Apple is storing a database, which used to be a plist on older versions of iOS, that uses us to locate Wi-Fi hotspots and cell towers that our phones or iDevices come within proximity. Distance is a variable length, wherever it may be. Nothing about your phone, you, or whatever. It's just simply saying, hey, look, I detect a Wi-Fi hotspot over there. That might be of use to us. Oh, I see a cell tower over here. That might be of use to us. Android does the same thing. They have different ways of doing it, and then Android was accused of actually having some sort of unique ID. Let's also hush that down. That ID, think of it as an identity seed in a database used as a unique identifier, a random count, although identity seeds usually in a database, if you're familiar with Access, I guess is a very low-level database. It's a number that you can index against. It's unique. It's irrelevant to the rest of the record information. It's simply there to make something unique in storage. It has no other relevant information other than that to say, hey, I can be indexed. So Apple has a larger list, and what do they say? They said that, well, we're not going to store this anymore on the backup files on the user's computer. We're going to make the database smaller, and it's going to be encrypted. So I think that's all that really needs to be said. Why is this a big deal? I have no idea. People are out there telling their entire life stories on Facebook and other social sites out there, blogs, Tumblr. There's all kinds. There's social applications that even track like what application you're going to be using and this and that, and go ooh look. And this thrives within an environment of people saying, well, look at me, look at what I'm doing. I'm brushing my teeth now. But yet they're going to go, oh my goodness. Look at how dare Apple or Android or anybody else store where a Wi-Fi hotspot is on my device. I mean, hello. This is all backwards. And something that I'm riled up on is now I'm going to start the whole new horse here. I've been programming for a long time, and one thing that has pissed me off in little increments is when security issues get blown out of proportion and actually aren't really security issues. And they rely on the biggest and weakest link of security of all time. That is us. We get fooled into doing something. Not so much maybe the software or whatever, but since a human being can be fooled, we have to put up all these barriers and boom, 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 and put it up at the expense of ourselves. So one of us makes a mistake, it goes in the news, and then the rest of us overreact about it rather than being concerned about ourselves and saying, well, you know what, I'm going to have more diligence in how I handle my own things and take responsibility for my own actions. I might violate my own personal privacy. But instead of doing that, we go to the lawmakers, laws get passed, regulations get created, and guess what? We have a whole new tax or a whole new regulatory cost to our consumption device. And this thing, and more articles that I read, is headed straight to lawmakers, and there's going to be all these inquiries. And something that Android and iOS and WebOS and RIM, which I all suspect they're doing, would rather create these databases to help us consumers so they don't have to constantly poll to find out where you are, or assist, let's basically say it, location services in a way that is not as intrusive to their system or to a cost for us in polling against the carriers. Because I loved how the carriers came out, all of them, AT&T and Verizon and Sprint. Oh well, we asked for permission before we can do anything in terms of navigation and all this. You know what? And they're going to be the first people to say that if we can't use databases or have the local device try to do some of the work instead of constantly polling, they're going to be the first to freaking add another damn $5 surcharge to say, oh, well, you're using too much of our bandwidth. See, you're polling too much now. This is utter ridiculousness. I digressed a bit in saying I've been programming for a long time over security. I've watched many of the things where I used to program to browsers just disappear because of overreaction to security, where we had very powerful tools that could have been handled differently in if there was a security breach rather than the directions that it was gone. And now, I miss those days where I had a tremendous amount of power in the browser to try to give the consumer a better user experience, and rather than the direction of layers of security that have gone on. Part of it, of course, was some of the inherent system flaw designs, like within ActiveX and Microsoft that they did, but this is not about that. This is about overreaction to things that are going to end up hurting us as consumers in the end. If you want to go complain and say, oh, my privacy, my privacy, my privacy, again, my message is to you to get off all these social networks wherever you are. Because honestly, if you've got a smartphone and you're all into these apps and things and doing this, chances are that you're sharing all kinds of other things out there, and you're broadcasting it all over the web, and people may say, oh, well, you know, I can control on Facebook who I show it to. Yeah, well, guess what? Advertisement tracking's following you. Okay? There's all kinds of things that are tracking when you decide to enter that world, and yet you're going to go and attack these things of saying, oh, well, there's Wi-Fi hotspots, because this is the wrong direction to go, because I'm going to tell you, the carriers are going to jump all over this. Boom, another fee to add on to this. It's already to the big mess of data that we all have to pay for crying out loud. I mean, as it is, you know, I'm a big proponent of arguing for over-the-air updates, and whether it's Wi-Fi or over data, you know, that's the user's choice. But yeah, it's a valid argument to say, well, make it Wi-Fi only, even though I believe that a consumer should have a choice to use up their data or not. But thinking about it, look how small data caps are as they are today. We're paying large amounts of money for very little data, and it's going to get worse because that's all the cell carriers want to do is complain about, well, you're on my network. You're on my network. You're using too much. Oh, but they're happy to charge the heck out of it. I mean, it's just this ridiculous cycle. Catch-22 is a better word to use. So, quit beating the dead horse and learn about what I'm talking about here with this. Oh, well, we're being used to help Apple and Android find out where cell towers and Wi-Fi hotspots are. There's a whole other plethora of services that use their end result products and the people that use them to try to build a data structure that may lead to a service. Maybe it's going to lead to better, you know, with going back to Apple, to a better navigation service or what have you. But in other places, whether it's a encyclopedia, gas prices, whatever, it would cost us a lot more to say, you know, Company A, you need to go out there and look at every darn gas station on your own, or pay some company that does it, and then you can just pay them, and they can charge whatever the heck they want. Just nonsense. So that's the best message that I can give from this, is that we just need to back off and really worry about other things that are far more important than this. Thanks for watching.